And we're in a different world, especially here in New Jersey. These opportunities didn't exist when I was in school. Now, you have students that come from, different backgrounds. Sometimes, come from, families that are undocumented, and they have the opportunity to go to higher education, pursue a college degree with no debt attached to that.
When the New Jersey Community College opportunity grant came in, it was actually a big relief, not only for me, but also my family. My aunt was not okay with me paying for any student loan.
College recognizes that and is looking to move in a direction where we help those communities and those in need, those that don't have the resources or the background and would still want to pursue higher education.
One of my proudest moments of my life started my first day starting at Brookdale, because my academic career was always important to me since high school. Graduating high school, I knew college had to be a next step for me and my family. So Brookdale inevitably became that for me.
I was in my late 40s. I was doing very well financially, selling cars. When I lost my job, I tried to find different ways of making money. It's the only thing I knew how to do, make money. I realized in the auto industry, now at this time when I got fired, I had a house, I had 2 cars, 2 car payments, 2 kids. One was probably like around 4 years old, the other one was around 7 years old. So thinking of the future, how am I going to be able to provide, knowing that I have nothing to fall back on. Every single way I turned, no one will hire me. So, biggest challenge I had was school. I said, you know what? It's my only shot. I'm going to take just like my Hail Mary. I'm going to try and take a shot. So I went to Brookdale. Filled out the application form, started to learn about it. I had really no clue what was what. You have to try to figure out.
It was a huge relief for me and my family because they didn't have to worry about, the expenses of thousands of dollars of how much school is sometimes for students, especially when it comes to commuting and trying to figure out, meals and things of that nature. Getting that off my plate was a huge benefit to me, and I'm extremely grateful for it.
It's hard. The biggest problem is that a lot of times we go into these things and not realize the amount of sacrifice you have to make. Be determined. Never give up. Sacrifice going out. Sacrifice a party. It's worth every bit of the actual sacrifice to educate yourself, educate your family, just to continue passing it on. It's really enriching.
Welcome to the Brookdale Undocually interview series. Today we're going to be working with Brookdale Community College to explore how students can access education regardless of their financial need, thanks to the Educational Opportunity Fund. So yeah, let's get started with our special guest. Please join me in welcoming Julia Crampwell. Yeah, she's the Assistant Director of the Educational Opportunity Fund, and she'll be sharing her thoughts and insights with us today. Thanks so much for being here, Julia.
Thank you for having me. How are you?
Doing well. How are you doing?
Doing good.
Oh.
So yeah, I'm here from Brookdale Community College. My name is Julia. I'm the Assistant Director of EOF, which is the Educational Opportunity Fund. It's a state grant program that helps students who are in low-income housing or have any other financial needs, also first-gen students as well. And with this program, they get extra support academically and financially.
Yeah, could you tell us a little more about yourself, what your role is at Brookdale, and what's the sort of impact that you see through this program?
So my role there at Brookdale, I get to, again, oversee over 300 students and more. These students come from low-income housing or have any other financial burdens and things like that. My role is to pretty much kind of make sure that they're being fostered in a great learning community. They get to connect with peers, build their leadership skills, along with just giving them access to things that they normally wouldn't have when it comes to their education. So making sure that they're getting the right information on transferring, information about internships. We really try to build our students up as much as possible so they can like lead as much when they leave Brookdale as well. As for myself, being assistant director, it's a new role, but I'm very excited to be in it. As a previous EOF student for both my undergraduate career and my graduate career as well, EOF has really helped me not only understand that there's resources that are available to you, and when you kind of just tap in and like access it, there's so many possibilities that you could have. And I'm so grateful for the program and what it's really done for me.
Yeah, maybe you could go a little more into sort of what your background is before Brookdale. Like, what sort of setting did you come up out of?
So as I said, I was also an EOF student. So I'm a first gen student from Ghana. My parents were both born there, but I was born here. And so again, they don't have a lot of educational background. I think my mother's educational goes up to high school. And so when it came to my sisters and I going to college, we really didn't have a lot of information. I remember filling out the FAFSA and like wondering, what is this? And like, well, is all this information on this giant form that I have to fill out? And I didn't even know what the college process was. And it was very intimidating. And I know a lot of students that I work with have that same experience. So from that, I did actually go to Brookdale. So my first few years of my college education was at Brookdale. I will say I learned my lesson at Brookdale because I wasn't in the EOF program at Brookdale. EOF at Brookdale has been there, I think, for over 30 years at the institution. But for some reason, I was really shy and I didn't know about the program. And I remember like I had a friend who did tell me about it, but I was like, I don't know if I can go into the office. So I was really shy and I didn't take advantage of that opportunity. But the moment that I did transfer from Brookdale into Montclair State, I did tell myself, like, you know what, I need to be more courageous and more confident. So I'm going to go into the EOF office. I'm going to be like, I qualify, please let me in. And so I pretty much did that, and they did accept me into their program. So by God's grace, I was able to be in there. And from there, I was able to see this whole new world of what education could do for me, not just what I could do for education. And I think that was really eye-opening because seeing how EOF interacts with their student, having that dedicated advisor with me, was so much more helpful. And I didn't feel alone when I was at college because I had so much support. And like, I remember my counselor in EOF, he was just always super supportive. Anytime I came crying about like I failed a test or something, he was like, it's just one test, you have more opportunities. And that encouragement really helped because it made me feel more confident in my studies, more confident in the career path that I wanted to go into. And I really appreciated having that kind of like soundboard and just like extra person with me. He even introduced, not even him, but I think the director of EOF at Montclair also reminded me that EOF is also accessible when you're a graduate student. And I knew that graduate school was something that I wanted to do because I did have the passion for education and I still wanted to continue. So when they told me that, I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to grad school now. So having that extra support in my grad school program, I went to Monmouth University for my grad school. And the team at Monmouth was just as supportive, super, super nice, super kind. My counselor was always so supportive of me, always reminding me that you always got to check in, always just got to make sure that you're on top of stuff. And having that extra support when you're going through this academic journey, this whole post-secondary like career path of yours is really helpful because college can be scary. Sometimes you're not sure what form goes to what. sometimes you're confused on like how you really want to go about your career path. And I really think that when it comes to having that extra support in EOF, it really made a difference on myself at least. And I know it's made a difference on the other students that I've worked with because I always tell them about this experience that I've had with EOF, and they're like, you know what? I hope that I can get that experience too. And I'm just like, I'm going to make sure you get that experience no matter what.
I can definitely see the benefits here. As I mean, myself, I'm also a low income student, and I know from experience, like, I mean, a lot of the time colleges expect you to know a lot of this additional context that other people have, including around like financial aid or, uh, you know, just preparing for whatever career path that you want.
Mm.
So yeah, I mean, this sounds great. Do you have any more illustrative examples of maybe what exactly this program can help with through someone's career?
So I definitely think EOF is such a great place because it's kind of like a giant hub of support. We have opportunities for students to like do networking and like career leadership experiences. So coming up soon, we have like a conference for all the EOF students across the state. So not only do students get to realize that, you know, EOF is not just at your small institution, it's not just at Brookdale, it's at every other school in New Jersey, except for Princeton, sorry. But of course,
I don't think they need the aid. They have it themselves, you know.
that's true. But like it's available to all these students. And like I love going to those conferences because not only do the students kind of have this shock of like, oh my gosh, there's so many of people who are like me. And they're going through the same things. But not only that, do they get access to like this networking opportunity. There's so many like mentors available in that area when we have these conferences. There's accessibility to these workshops that help them with leadership, confidence, helping them understand that like just because you have this financial background because of your family or whatever it may be, it's not going to define you and how you move forward in your future. So they really help build as much confidence in our students as possible and just let them understand that there's many other ways to access what kind of career path you want to go on.
Thanks for sharing all that.
Mhm.
Do you have any practical advice or resources that you might offer to students looking to take advantage of this program?
So I'd say just apply. That's the first step. And really, not just apply, but also be invested into the program. We do a lot of things within Brookdale, and I know other schools in their EOF programs probably require the same things. It's just that we want our students to be invested in their education. So again, apply to the program. Our application is always on our website. For other schools, it might be a little bit different of their application process, but it's nothing that's not easily accessible with like a phone call or just like a question to their office. But for the most part, apply, connect with your advisors. EOF provides like personalized advisors in a way. We always have, my team has like individual advisors, and we have like our whole set of a cohort. So I have like over like 60 students sometimes, and they come and see me primarily. We talk about what's going on with their lives, what's going on with their academics. If they need an extra scholarship, let's make sure we can find one for them. If they're thinking about study abroad or something outside that they're not used to, like we want to have that kind of conversation and dialogue with our students. So as long as they invest in their education, it will invest back into them. So I always just tell students to just be engaged as much as possible.
Great. Is there anything exciting coming up at Brookdale? We know that the FAFSA is coming out in December soon, so folks will start applying to that.
Yeah, definitely once FAFSA opens, that's kind of how we kind of process our students to make sure that they're eligible. But for the most part, definitely once the FAFSA comes out, even though last year was a bit of like debacle and a little bit of chaos, it's definitely something that we definitely have learned from, and we definitely want to make sure that all our students are being helped, especially when it comes to like any issues when there is kind of like a few hiccups with the FAFSA. So as long as our students are communicating with us, we always want to make sure that they're going to get their aid eventually. So definitely make sure our students are filing their FAFSA because that's how they get into our program. One thing that I definitely want to share is that we have a first generation celebration coming up on November 12th. This is an opportunity for any first gen student and their families who go to Brookdale to be celebrated, to learn more about what other people who are first gen have accomplished and what they too can accomplish as well. And we really just want to celebrate students in general. So November 12th, 5:30 at the Student Life Center at Brookdale, we're going to have this amazing celebration. It's hosted by the our Department of Student Affairs, and we really just want to let our students know that we're here to support you, regardless of what you are and like however you want to pursue your career. So we really want students to show up to that too.
What happened with the FAFSA last year? I don't know that.
So it was just a lot of delays for the most part, and it kind of backed up a lot of students trying to get into colleges. I know this year we had an influx of students who didn't know if they were going to get aid at like any state school or something, so they ended up coming to Brookdale. And through that, a lot of students were like, "Oh, I didn't know Brookdale was this supportive." Like I had to walk a few students through the whole FAFSA process from beginning to the end. Some students had to go to our financial aid office to get support on making sure that like signatures were put on the FAFSA and things like that. So making sure that we tried to our best to make sure that every student got the attention and the needs were met when it came to fixing their FAFSA. So a lot of students just had to get a few things covered, but that delay really did kind of delay everything in a way, but we kind of bounced back a little bit.
Yeah, could you walk us through a little more? What are the specifics of the financial aid, the advising, um, and yeah, just the scholarships that can help students through the college admissions?
Yeah, so with EOF, students get 1,600, at least from Brookdale, students get 1,600 per year towards their financial aid. So this grant is broken up by semester, so students will get 800 per semester. The students do need to be full-time. There's usually like limited funds when it comes to students who want to be part-time. But again, as long as they have that dialogue and conversation with us, we can usually see what we can do to make sure the student is supported by our program. But for the most part, for full-time students, they get 800 per semester. As I mentioned, we do have the advisors on deck. So myself, I have 3 other advisors on my team, and they also help managing our giant cohort and splitting it up so that every student kind of gets a more individualized experience when it comes to academic advising. Only because sometimes you could be just a number when you go to like the general advising of your school. But with us, we want to get to know our students. We want to make sure that their schedules, their career paths, their transfer opportunities, we want to make sure that they know about it and that they're aware of them, and that whenever they come in, they're not just being a number. We get to actually hear them out. We can get to know why they didn't show up to their 8 a.m. class. And it's because, they have a giant long commute. I have a lot of students who take public transportation to go to class. And so they have to have a better schedule to manage that. So making sure that we adhere to those things are kind of things that we do. And when it comes to the scholarship itself, it's a grant that just goes towards their financial aid. And of course, grants are things that they don't have to pay back. It's a state funded program. So we are able to make sure all students who apply get that.
Do you have any inspiring stories that you can tell from this program?
Um, hmm, Inspiring stories. I'd say hmm, there's a lot. That's why I'm trying hard to pick from. But I guess I could share. I had one student who they were going through like a really rough path, and they met with me. It was like my first time meeting them. And all of a sudden they're breaking down in my office. I'm just like, oh, okay. I didn't know this is where we were going today, but if we're here, this is what we're gonna go with. And so the student was really just talking about how they were having family issues, having issues when it came to like getting to class. Their commute, because of public transportation, was over an hour long, and they were just unsure of if like their career path was worth it. And so I kind of explained to them what my story was, how I've been in that position, let them know that, like, you know, I've been a Brookdale student as well. I've been a transfer student. Like, there's so many things people don't tell you about when it comes to college, and those are the same things that were giving the student anxiety. So when it came to like, what's it going to look like for me as a transfer student, I was like, I'll share this with you. Like, I was a transfer as well. And so from that point, they kind of just got a little bit more comfortable, and they just got to know more about what EOF was supposed to be for them. And so from that point on, they were consistent in my office, coming in as much as they could, just to make sure that they were on the right path and everything. And from that point, they did graduate, and they've gone on to, I think they're in their first year of graduate school now, because this was a while ago. So it's their first year of graduate school, and they still like call me whenever they can, just be like, you know, I'm doing this right now and I'm really excited. And so I just think that once students really tap in and realize that, you know, it's a place where, at least my office, and I can say the same for the rest of my team, like, our office is a place for you to feel like home, feel comfortable, and just feel seen. And whenever you have any trouble, that's the first place you want to go. You want to go to some place that's comfortable and that's not going to make you feel alone. And so having that student like succeed in all the things that they were so afraid of when they first came into my office is just something that I love to see for all my students. I always tell them, like, I'm happy when you're happy. And so I'm just trying to explain that to them so that they understand that, like, we're here to support you no matter what you want to do, no matter if you want to be a fire truck or if you want to be the next president of the United States. Like, we're here to support you no matter what.
That personal relationship sounds really wonderful. I
Mm.
think that is something missing in a lot of higher education
Mm.
institutions, where, I mean, it's very depersonalized. Yeah, like you know, in the way that you put it, it's like a number on a spreadsheet. It's you know, not completely conducive to you know, full career in
Yeah.
higher education.
I think that's one thing we try our best to do, is like to look at the holistic student. I know it's easy to say that this person wants to just pursue their education. Okay, they can go to any school and do that. But like, at the same time, if they want to have a convenient place to be at, especially what Brookdale offers, it's in the heart of Monmouth County. So a lot of students are usually able to get there because it's closer to home. And they have all these things that define them outside of their academics. So I think EOF does a good job of making sure that the people who are working there are trained to see the holistic student, not just.
So I know you mentioned that you weren't able to take full advantage of this program when you were in college.
Mhm.
Have you had any? I mean, have you benefited from it in some way personally through through this program while you were in college?
Yeah. So once I really do realize that, like, I should have gone to that EOF office when I was at Brookdale. I should have just taken that leap forward, but, I feel like everything happens for a reason, and I'm even more grateful for it now because it's kind of full circle that now I'm working at Brookdale, and I didn't and I wasn't an EOF scholar at Brookdale when I was there, but it's full circle because now I do my best to, like, really make sure that every student that I connect with, whether they're in the program or not, knows about what EOF is. I feel like it's such an opportunity that shouldn't be missed out on, because I feel like a lot of programs can sometimes be kind of silenced, or a lot of programs that are really helpful and beneficial for students aren't mentioned often. And like, you make it people might make it seem like it's some secret society that's really hard to get into, but
Exactly.
it's really not. We're open. We're trying to make sure that it's not even just trying to be like a recruitment piece. We genuinely want students to benefit from this opportunity. We want to see thousands of students at our conferences, not just the small doses from each institution. We want to make sure all the students who genuinely need the support academically, financially, and even personally can get access to it, because things like the things that we offer at Brookdale in our ELF program, a lot of students would probably have to go out and pay for it in some way, whether it's a conference or counseling or just like that extra academic advising or in some way. So having it in like this giant hub for free that you can utilize and you also get extra grant for, who wouldn't want to take advantage of that?
Yeah, my understanding though is that this program has some limits for like undocumented immigrants. What are some opportunities that undocumented students can take advantage of in lieu of this program?
So with this program, if you are eligible to to apply for state aid, New Jersey has the HESA grant, which is an alternative New Jersey tag grant. If you're eligible to do that, you don't need a social security number, but you do need to be within the high school of New Jersey, like any high school of New Jersey, for more than like I think 4 years at least. So if you've attended a New Jersey high school and you don't have a social security number, you can usually apply for that state aid, and that usually helps a lot of students. And that also gives you access to EOF as well, because we're based on not just the FAFSA information, but we do take in the state information because we are state funded.
Finally, what message would you send to students and families that are watching right now and are interested in going to college at Brookdale?
I'd say take advantage of it because, again, Brookdale is such an amazing opportunity, not just for convenience, but also for money. I know CCOG was here recently. They're also another amazing program that helps students. So a lot of students eventually go to Brookdale for free. And I think that's a great opportunity that they should take advantage of because you'll get extra support with not just EOF, but CCOG. We have great staff who are really willing to be invested in all of our students, from our career center, our financial aid office, our transfer offices, and all of our academic faculty. Like they're really invested in making sure our students really fulfill the futures that they want to have. And so we are trying to create a successful path for all of our students. And I think it's a good investment to take in. You'll save a whole lot of money as well, because, going to a 4-year school and once you go to a 4-year school, it's a lot more expensive when it comes to the financial aspect. So saving 2 years off of that would always be helpful.
Yeah, thanks once again, Julia, for coming here and speaking with us about the EOF.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and a big thank you to our listeners as well for tuning in. And remember, if you have any questions about the EOF or about attending college at Brookdale, please visit the website in this description. Until next time, keep striving for your educational goals.
Audio Jungle.